Hello friend, I'm your friendly robot here to guide you in your beginnings of Apex Legends. Haha, just kidding, it's Oral the Loner, and I will be giving all my new players some helpful tips to get started at Apex Legends. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and leave a comment on other things you want to know or need help with in Apex. Let's go! Apex Legends is a first-person shooter battle royale. There are 20 characters to choose from as of now, each one with unique abilities to help assist you and your team to be the champions. Apex has 4 different maps, but as of Season 12, there are only 3 playable maps: Kings Canyon, Olympus, and Stormpoint. Sorry, World's Edge. Now, for new players, it's going to be hard to understand map layouts, rotations, and hot zones, as it all just get complicated. So for now, focus on basic mechanics and don't stress about the maps right now. You'll learn eventually. You'll start your match in the dropship with 60 other players, 30 teams in duos, and 20 in trios. One of you will be jump master and take your team to a landing location. This is all simple, and after a while of relinquishing jump master, you'll get the hang of everything as far as getting into the game and landing. Now first things first, let's look into some of the behind the scenes aspects and look at your controls and settings. In the gameplay section, most of these settings are up to you, but I recommend turning off auto cycle and empty, turning on auto sprint, and turning off taking damage closes death boxes. Another cool one that I saw was changing the reticle color. This isn't necessary, but I thought it was cool, and of course I love the color green. So next is the controller section. I am a controller user, so most of this will probably be beneficial for other controller users. I suggest looking at people who play on keyboard and mouse if you want any help with that. Controller players can understand the pain of being heavy-handed on the sticks. For button layouts, I suggest changing your punch button. Punching unequips your gun, so you're defenseless for a couple of seconds while the animation is going. I see this a common problem with most players, so if it's a problem for you, I suggest changing it. My personal preference is to have my stick as my crouch or emotes, as it doesn't stop shooting. You see this right here? Go ahead and increase that to at least halfway. This just controls the speed of your cursor, and it's a pain taking 10 years to move it around. This affects the cursor speed when in the death box and even when you're in the lobby. Now, I'm not an expert on ADS speed and all that hoo-ha, but as long as you're able to turn around when someone pull up in the back, I think you're good. Oh, also hitting your shots is a big thing you gotta do too. Next, we're going to be talking about guns and choosing perfect weapons for you. Now, it'll be difficult to pick out certain guns for new players as it will be too much to remember, so my best recommendation is to pick up one orange ammo gun or light ammo gun and have your second gun as whatever you find or like. Most light guns are auto except 2, the G7 Scout and the P2020. Most don't have difficult recoil patterns or weird firing rates, so they shouldn't be too hard to use for someone still learning the other mechanics. As for other guns, blue ammo guns or heavy ammo guns can vary, and most have weird fire rates such as burst or can be awkward for a new player to use, such as the Rampage. The car is a solid choice and take both blue and orange ammo types.
I'm out of heavy ammo.
As for energy guns or green ammo guns, they can be difficult for new players, so the best one to choose for them would be the triple take. Any care package weapon can be easy to use, but I recommend the Volt and Spitfire as best choices. Speaking of care package guns, the best one you can get is the Kraber. With 12 bullets and around 145 damage to the body and 435 damage to the head, this gun can one-shot any player if you can land a headshot. This gun strikes fear in any player, so if you hear this sound or get wrecked with one bullet, stay in cover and don't overpeak or stay still. Next, I'll go over legends briefly. There are 20 legends as of now and more to come in the future. I won't go over every legend as it will take too long, but the basics is each legend has 3 parts to their kit. First, there's a passive, which doesn't require a wait and sometimes has to be active by a specific event, such as Wraith needing someone to stare at her. Then there is a tactical. This is the character's ability that comes back in less than a minute and can vary from character to character. Last is the ultimate. This power takes up to a minute or more depending on the legend and can be used to help you and your team in a fight or just to get further in winning the game. Be more mindful when you're using your ultimate, as it can take longer to get back, so if it is wasted, then you'll be waiting a bit. For new players, some abilities can be harder to learn or use while also fighting, so here are 3 good legends for new players. First is Bloodhound. He can scan enemies easily and during ultimate can see enemies highlighted in red with a black and white screen. Next is Wraith. Wraith can phase out when taking damage and create portals for her teammates. Last person I recommend is Bangalore. She can throw down smoke for cover and blind enemies and can move faster when taking fire. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about can either make it or break it for new players. And it's something so simple, but a lot of new players struggle understanding. And that is healing. When you first start an Apex game, everyone gets a body shield, a helmet, and a couple of heals. You can either level up that body shield by doing damage or find better ones on the ground or in death boxes. The highest level shield is the Red Evil, and it's only accessible through damaging up your evil shield or finding it in a player's death box. It will never be found as ground loot. For healing, understand what your button is for healing. It is usually set to you at the bottom left hand corner, so make sure you know the difference between this and the bombs for you controller players. After each engagement that you get in, if you are able to, I suggest healing, especially your body shield. You can worry about your health later if you do not have the time, but it's best to be prepared for each fight with the max amount of health possible. These are the most important tips for all you new players, packaged in a nice video by Apex can be challenging, but once you get the hang of it, you can be just as good as me. Thank you for watching, friends.
Okay, don't think we needed that war cry.
I don't think you understand the seriousness of the situation.